Hello and welcome to Ask M&R episode 141. Tons of questions as usual, but if you have one you want answered next week, leave in the comments section down below. I'm sure I'll get a lot of 2021 LEGO Star Wars questions because it feels like the apocalypse just happened. I mean, maybe not that bad, but like the list for 2021 sets is really bad, and I'm seeing it a lot, and not just my comments section. I looked in other people's video comments section. There's just a lot of resentment towards this wave, and I get it. It makes sense to me. Like, I understand them wanting to make sets cheaper, which is actually a good thing because set prices had gotten out of hand. Like, we can all see that, and everyone was complaining about it, and now they're cheaper, which is good. But everything being original trilogy bar the Resistance X-Wing, which is a 4+ junior set, doesn't fly. Especially in the environment we have right now with Star Wars. And no, the gunship doesn't count. That's not even an official rumor. That's just what the set likely is. And that is a set coming out in May that we had to vote in a vote where the other two sets were original trilogy. If we hadn't stood up for ourselves, we could have been looking at a first half year of 2021 in which every set except a Junior's X-Wing was an original trilogy set. And no battle packs and no Jedi dueling sets. For shame. Anthony says, which set has increased the most in price since retiring? It's actually a pretty interesting answer, I think. I'm not gonna look at like the most just straight up dollar-wise. We're looking at like a set still sealed in the box, right? And I guess the real answer to that would be the 10179 Millennium Falcon that went from being a $500 set to like, I don't know, at its peak, maybe like $4,000 sealed. Like, it was just insane how pricey that set got. But if you want to look at it percentage-wise, which I think yields a much more interesting answer, there is a set that has gone up like 2,000% in its value. That's a lot of percent. And that is the Ultimate Collector Series Naboo N1 Starfighter from 2002. I love that set. I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool that LEGO did once make a really small UCS set like that, and it's now worth like $1,000 sealed in box. You can get it cheaper occasionally, but the market price for it right now is like $1,000, and that's just insane to me. It did originally cost $40 again, so you can see it's gone up $960. It's actually insane how pricey that set has become. Andrew says, what would you say are the must-have Star Wars sets for a new collector? So if you're just getting into collecting LEGO Star Wars, and there's always someone new coming into it, I would say the must-haves are always the sets that you're looking at that are currently available that are about to retire. So you're talking about sets that have been available for at least a year. That's what you're going to want to buy first for yourself. And you have to decide what those sets are for you. But let's assume you don't have a super limited budget. I would say the must-haves right now are going to be that UCS Millennium Falcon. I think that's a legendary set, maybe one of the best all time, of course. I think the Millennium Falcon is pretty universally loved, both as its LEGO set and as the actual ship. I think another must-have is absolutely going to be that Razor Crest at $130. I think it's a really good value. This answer may be surprising to some, but the 501st Battle Pack I think is an absolute must-have as a LEGO Star Wars set. It's an instant classic and perhaps one of the most popular LEGO Star Wars sets ever. I think the Slave 1 20th Anniversary Edition is about to retire, so if you're into the Slave 1 at all, that is one that I would go out and pick up as soon as possible. You don't want to miss out on that Slave 1. It's the best one they've ever made, bar the UCS one that's retired. And I think it couldn't hurt to have a Mandalorian Battle Pack or a Mandalorian and the Child Brickheads as like the currently available must-haves. And if you're really big into the prequel trilogy, the Kylo Ren shuttle, the newer one, is an absolute must-have. That thing is so amazing. In its black and red color scheme, I just love it. So those are like my top sets available now that if you're just getting into collecting and you have a pretty large budget, you should probably start out with. Kai Murphy says, why do you think that the Razor Crest isn't selling out? I feel like it's just as popular as sets like the 501st Battle Pack and the AAT. I pretty much agree with this sentiment. I mean, it's never going to sell as many sets as like a 501st Battle Pack because the 501st Battle Pack people are buying dozens and dozens of, whereas a Razor Crest you're just going to buy one of, right? So I have like 60 501st Battle Packs and one Razor Crest. So you can see how numbers can get skewed like that, but it's still a very, very popular set. I went to buy it release day at the LEGO store and there were a lot of people buying it there. LEGO had pre-orders available since February, so a lot of people also ordered it online and pre-ordered it, and LEGO basically probably just made enough. That's why it's not selling out, because they made more than enough. They knew how many they were going to need based off their pre-orders, and they made some to have available at retail, and then some probably. So they probably just literally made enough to meet demand, unlike those other sets that they did not make enough to meet demand. In general, I would say that it's a good thing that it's not selling out, because that means everyone that wants one can get one and everyone doesn't have to be toxic about it. I got the hiccups so bad in this video right now. I should have just waited 20 minutes to film this. It's gonna be a nightmare to edit because I have to like cut where I hiccup every time. The Lupinator says, when you make a schedule, how far in the future do you plan? How often do you go against your schedules? Usually I'll make a schedule like once or twice a month, and I'll look at it and be like, all right, this is what I'm doing for the next 2 to 3 weeks, or at least like a basic outline. And it is absolutely not something I ever really hold myself to, right? I like to make the schedules, and I like to plan ahead, and I like to write things down to kind of stay on top of things and have an idea of where I'm going, but I definitely have no reservations about going against my arbitrary schedule. There are things like this series that obviously come out every Tuesday, but I'm a lot more loose about other things. Like if it's a top 10 video, if it doesn't come out this Friday, well, it can just come out next Friday, no big deal to me. So there's a lot of things like that that I will go against my pre-written schedule that I just don't care about that much. Like I'll have another video take its place, or if like big rumors drop on a day, I'll take one video and I'll just be like, all right, you're pushed back 3 weeks, whatever, not a big deal, and I'll drop the rumor video that day instead. But most things are really done on a week-to-week basis around here. Like I'm gonna be honest, it's more day-to-day than you would expect, because right now I'm like, ever since I went on vacation at the end of July, I started falling behind again. So I'm working like day to day right now, trying to get ahead. Bud123 says, can you do a guide for Lego investment and the best ways to sell older Lego sets to maximize returns? Thinking about investing in 5 battle packs, but not sure how many I need to sell to make it worth it. Well, as far as the best way to sell older Lego sets to maximize returns, you're gonna wanna sell them for the most money you can, because that would maximize your return. Joking aside, this is something I don't typically delve into or really think about that much. I mean, you don't know what it's gonna be worth in 5 years, right? It could be worth retail price plus $10, so 40 bucks. Then you get your eBay fee, that's $4. All of a sudden, you're making $5 on it. Is it worth your time to make $5 on it? Probably not. You're probably way better off investing in A, another Lego set if you really want to invest in a Lego set, or B, investing in like real stocks or whatever the common way to do it is. To a degree, there's a certain amount of luck that would go into it, right? So if you're gonna pick a set, let's just say you're gonna put $500 in the 5 battle pack, you're gonna wanna buy them as cheap as possible, obviously. So whether that be on clearance at a store, or if Target's having their wonderful sale and they have, 20% off and a gift card thing that stacks with it when you spend 50 bucks, that's what I'm hoping to have this winter, so I can buy a ton of 5 battle packs for my army. Like if you get that, that's when you want to strike, right? You want to buy it as cheap as possible, and then the real tough part is waiting. Then you have to wait with all of this stuff that takes up a lot of space, and then decide when the right time to sell it is. Because so often you can sell a Lego set, right? Like I've sold things in the past where I'll sell my old Lego set of whatever it is, and then you look at it 2 years later and it's like, well, now it's worth $500. Why did I sell it when it was only worth $200? I think I did that with like Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, and that's a tough thing to battle with, like when the right time to sell something is. Assuming they go up in value, the 5 battle packs needs to be a very special case where hopefully everyone has plenty and doesn't have to pay the crazy price 5 years down the line, but it could go up in price. All the older battle packs seem to have gone up in price quite considerably at this point, so there seems to be a decent chance that you could make some money there. Good luck with your investing. Hopefully you make a ton of money, but it's tough. Dylan says, what do you think about what Daisy Ridley said about The Rise of Skywalker? So if you guys don't know, she basically came out and said that they had no plan for The Rise of Skywalker and how the story of Rey would go, and that Emperor Palpatine would be Rey's grandfather until like the day of filming or something like that. It was pretty insane to hear that they had no plan. That like honestly was sad. You have this billion-dollar movie, basically, and you just squander it away. I feel like I put more planning into some of my YouTube videos at least, and I definitely don't make $1 billion on them. I don't know, it was just sad to hear. Really, it really was just sad to hear that they had no real plan of what to do with Rey, Skywalker, Palpatine, nobody, Kenobi. They had all these different ideas, but they hadn't chosen one until like the day of. Hopefully with their next trilogy or next movies, Star Wars and Disney learns and takes something from their massive F-up. I enjoyed the films, but it does suck that they didn't really have a super coherent story, nor did they seem to have a plan, or as seems to have been proven, that they didn't have a plan going into it, nor until the very end. And then the plan didn't make sense because they hadn't thought about it. Max says, do you think LEGO could release another version of the epic 10195 Republic Dropship with ATOT anytime soon? Thanks in advance. Well, I'm going to be the crusher of dreams today, courtesy of the LEGO group. No, I don't think they will do this anytime soon. Never, honestly. At this point, they seem to not care what the fans want. I have gotten so many comments asking for that set to be remade. You would think LEGO would see something like that. And they just don't seem to care. This is just continuing on my rant of having seen the first half year Star Wars 2021 set rumors. And it's not like fans have only been asking for Clone Wars sets since August. Fans have been asking for Clone Wars sets for years now. Even though we've been getting some slowly, you would think we would still at least continue to get some slowly, if not more so now that the Clone Wars came out. But no, I don't think they will release another epic version of the Republic Dropship with ATOT. I really don't. I am so down on anything they could possibly do with the Clone Wars. It's honestly just really sad to see them completely dropping whole eras of Star Wars for some reason right now. And yes, I've seen the arguments, oh, there's the summer wave. Yeah, the summer wave doesn't guarantee anything. You can sit here and say, oh, but there's 2022, 2023. Yes, there's all these things. But right now, in the moment, Clone Wars is super popular. I don't know how they didn't see it coming. I really just don't. And it's not like they hadn't seen footage of like the Bad Batch episodes at the very least to have a Bad Batch shuttle ready to go. A Bad Batch shuttle would have made a lot more sense than an Imperial shuttle at that $70 range, would it not? Because it had the 4 Clone Wars episodes, and they probably knew back then, hey, there's going to be more content on this in the future. You should just make a set now, and it will be available when the TV show starts coming out later in 2021, right? Just because the TV show comes out in late 2021 doesn't mean you can't release something earlier in the year. It's still going to sell to the diehard fans early in the year, and then everyone else that sees the full TV show a year from now or whatever. I don't know, man. I really wish I could be positive about your question, because for years and years, I have been positive about that sort of thing. I've been like, oh, it's got to be coming. Like, I'm sure they're seeing all the fan demand for it, and the fact that it's literally worth like $1,500 sealed in the box on eBay, I'm just really down on it at this point. Aiden Jenkins says, will you be doing a comparison on the Master Builder series, Cloud City and Mos Eisley? I wasn't going to do it, but I've gotten quite a few questions asking me to do it, so I probably will do it. They are very comparable in that they are both $350 Master Builder series sets, obviously not based on the same scene. They won't have the same minifigs, but I think it would be an interesting comparison to make. So yeah, I probably will do that. And I'm also going to do a comparison of the 3 older LEGO Star Wars Mos Eisley sets from, I think, 2004, 2014, and 2018. Maybe not quite a comparison, but more so just like a showcase of like, hey, here's the older models and here's the newer model. This is what the newer model does that the older model doesn't. Darth Vader says, when you finish collecting every LEGO Star Wars set, would you consider making a sealed LEGO Star Wars collection? I mean, anything is possible, as usual. That's obviously very expensive. It would basically cost me twice as much as my existing collection would at that point. So probably not. Plus it would take up a ton of space that I just do not have. I would really love to do that. It just doesn't seem like something viable for me at this point in time or in my planned future. JK wants to know what I think about the new Call of Duty Cold War gameplay. It looked pretty sharp. I cannot wait to play it on PS5. I think the game looks fun. The multiplayer definitely looks better than Modern Warfare. I'm curious what they're going to do as far as Battle Royale, because that's where I've been putting most of my time in Call of Duty the last 2 years. So I would expect that trend to continue. So I definitely want to see something good come out of like the Battle Royale side of Cold War. Ethan says, where do you think LEGO would be without the Star Wars license? It couldn't possibly be doing as well as it is now. Like, I think a lot of people are into LEGO because of LEGO Star Wars. I don't think that's a stretch to say. I'm one of those people. I would probably not be into it at all had it not been for LEGO Star Wars. And you know, there's different, you can say that for different themes too. I'm sure there's people that wouldn't be in LEGO today that if it weren't for LEGO Ninjago or LEGO City, like you can say that for any theme, but LEGO Star Wars has definitely been a very big and influential theme. It's been probably their best-selling theme over the last 20 years. It's basically like the New England Patriots of LEGO. AI says, is LEGO Star Wars ending in 2022 due to their license running out? So yes, the license does apparently run out in 2022, but no, that does not mean it's ending. This has happened multiple times before, and no, it probably will not be the end. It could be. LEGO and Disney could just not agree to renew the license, but as I just said, it has probably been their best-selling theme for the last 20 years, and there is no reason to believe that it will not continue to be, and that they would not want to continue their partnership. They're both making a ton of money from it. A lot of people really love it. I think my YouTube channel is a testament to that, and how much it has grown over the past couple years. You can just see how many people are actually interested in the topic. So no, I don't think that it's ending at all. I'm sure they will renew it, and I believe the last time they renewed it, I did some research, they did do an announcement for it, and they did like a whole press release. So I would expect to see a press release within the next year or two announcing that they've come to a new deal and that it will be extended through, I don't know, 2030 or something like that. Especially with new Star Wars films starting in 2023 and then 2025, 27. I think there might be some in between there too, all the TV shows and everything. I don't think it's going anywhere. Dummy Film says, how will you display Diagon Alley? So you asked how I was going to display the Diagon Alley set, and usually I would try to put sets in bins like that where they're completely dust-free, nothing can happen to them. I've been doing that for a little while. Here you can see some more bins down under here, just where I've been storing things as best I can until I obviously have proper ways to display things. But for now, Diagon Alley is under a nice blanket or towel, and so it is just hidden up under here where it'll be kept safe from any dust that could come about to it. There's a Harry Potter and the Avengers Tower set there from earlier this summer. But yeah, this is what I've been having to do right now, just as the way to store these things. You can also see the older Diagon Alley set down in there as well, hidden up underneath the towels there. So that's the way I've been doing it, because it's the only way I really can. I've been also storing some larger Star Wars sets like that, for those of you who just haven't seen out here in a while. There's even more sets under these towels, so it's just kind of the only way I can do it with a lot of things right now. So it's really my best option until I have a better option, which, you know, time will tell when that will happen, but working towards it currently. Venator Brick says, why do you think LEGO had small box versions of many sets? So if you're unfamiliar with the small box thing, I'll put a picture on screen now. Basically in 2010 or 11, Lego took a bunch of their existing products and made their boxes smaller. I believe this was a market test. From the best of my knowledge, this is a market test, or was a market test, basically to reduce Lego's footprint on the environment. Like using less packaging material is always a good thing as far as like environmental impact goes. You would also in turn cut down on things like shipping costs because you're taking up less space in a box and you would be charged less to ship it. That makes sense too, right? And then the consumer reaction to something like this has to be tested as well, because people will react to getting a box that is smaller but costs the same amount of money as a box that's bigger, right? It's not that easy of a thing to sell what is obviously to people like me the same thing and shouldn't matter what size box it comes in, but to a passerby, consumer, parent just buying it as a gift, they'll be like, oh, why is this tiny box $20 when this big box over here is also $20? I'm gonna buy the one that's a big box, because people are swayed by things like that. That's like marketing, and whatever research goes into all that craziness, there is some science behind it. So it was basically, as far as I'm aware, a marketing test and also kind of a way to reduce some footprint on the environment. And all that being said, I don't know how much you guys pay attention to Lego year over year, but I definitely have been paying attention to it year over year since like 2005, very hardcore. And what you may have noticed is this set in 2005, things like this, not just this specifically, but this set, let's say in 2005, it did retail for $30. But in 2020, this set cost $30. You can see how Lego has downsized their packaging over the years, just very slowly. The box sizes have gone down in correlation to the price because of inflation and a whole bunch of different factors, but essentially you can see how much smaller a box is that for a set that costs $30 now versus a set that in 2005 cost $30. And now they use a box that's about this size for sets that I think cost up to $80. So you can see how crazy things get with something like that. So the box sizes have been changing, but not quite in the same way that they did when they did that small box then. Alex says, would you consider opening any of your sealed box sets from 2007 for the possibility of finding a chrome gold C-3PO? I don't know what sealed 2007 sets I have that you're referring to, but I did buy a sealed droid battle pack a few years ago at Brick Fair, Virginia, and it ate away at me and ate away at me and ate away at me, and I was like, fine, I'll open it. I gotta see if there's a gold C-3PO in here. And I opened it, and of course there was no gold C-3PO, so sad. And it turns out that gold C-3PO was not even put in the battle packs in 2007, so I don't know why I opened that. So opening that was a big, big waste, unfortunately. That is going to do it for Ask MandRproductions, though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, you know, all that YouTuber jazz. And if you have a question for next week's episode, drop it down in the comment section below. Peace out.